Super random. What does your dad do as a hydrogeologist?
Oh wow, hydrogeology, man. We're on some Nardor type shit right now.
So we are here with Clay from Clay and Friends.
Pew pew pew.
I have to say this right off the bat. Do you know there's another band it's like an alternate universe? They're called Friends of Clay.
We will find them and crush them.
Yeah, but of course we are highlighting Clay and Friends today. With Clay, who is you live in Verdun right now?
Yeah, we say Verdun, la música popular de Verdun. Can you roll your R's?
Verdun, of course.
10 on 10, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go, we got it. Who in the group has a framed picture of an old man reading the mirror?
Oh wow, that is me.
That is you.
That is me.
Why do you have that?
That's a deep cut.
Cut.
I used to live in this very oddly shaped house, and we had a dark room in the basement of the house. So a dark room, for people that don't know, is you take pictures on a film camera and then you develop them in the dark room. And one of the first shots one of my roommates took, and his thing was he would walk around with a no iPhone, this like old ass heavy camera.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the airport with it, they'll stop you and be like, "Are you carrying explosives?" And he would just pretty much snipe these pictures. And he caught this picture of an old corpulent man reading the last print of the mirror, and he's kind of got this mean mug on. And so we had it in the kitchen. Every time you'd walk in, you'd see that man staring right back at your soul, pretty much.
Does that like give you inspiration or anything?
Yeah, I pretty much look to anything except music for inspo. So I'll look at architecture, design, pictures, and there's something about his face on a Wednesday morning when you're hungover. You're looking at him and you're like, all right, I hear these chords.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of inspiration, what I appreciate about your band, you guys create some of your songs with the help of your audience by them shouting out words. Like, first of all, why do you do that, and how do you do that?
Freestyling has always kind of been my party trick. I don't know what your party trick is, but it's kind of just a thing I learned how to do on the road. I busked in Australia and in the States, but that's for the podcast. Essentially, we've always found that the best moment, when you're in front of a crowd of strangers, they have no reason to lie to you. They're not necessarily there to see you. They haven't paid for tickets. I'm thinking about like festivals in Europe or whatnot. We're playing earlier in the day. And so one thing that always works for us, to go in the crowd, I'll pick up words and I'll start juggling with the words. The band will make up chords I've never heard before. And you get this spontaneous, authentic moment where I'm taking these words, putting them into a song. And sometimes in the spur of the moment, same way a jazz musician would be doing a solo or something, I'm bouncing off these words, off the chords I'm hearing for the first time, and you get something unique. And because it's not premeditated, you go where your inspo just takes you. It's very impulsive, and you get these beautiful moments. And some of our biggest songs, I'm thinking about Going Up the Coast. Oh my God, these are like Going Up the Coast is a gold record in Canada. Come from those moments. So it's, I like to say it's never really a hit or miss, because the worst thing that can happen is you get this one-time moment with these people that were there, and it's like, oh, last time they got these words and they did this kind of group, but I'm seeing them for the 6th time and they made a country song this time. You know what I mean? So it keeps people coming back. It's kind of like a Mark Rebier type thing with a bit less penis and booty involved, but shout out to Mark.
So since they're involved, like the fans, does that mean they get a cut of the royalties, or what's?
See you later, ladies.
Not quite.
But, we love to say, and it is very true, that the crowd has always been a part of the DNA of Clay and Friends, and they're on the recordings, like they're on Going Up the Coast, they're on Money Man, they're a part of these songs. So yeah, please don't come and take our royalties from us, because the pie is already very, very split. Just thank you for being a part of La Musique Populaire de Verdun.
By the way, shout out to Clay, because he just came back. He's only from Europe yesterday. The fact that you're here right now doing this, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I wanted to ask you, apparently you ghostwrite for some Canadian and American bands, but I don't know if you want to say publicly who they are. Do you want to reveal that at all, or no?
This is not the time or place. Those NDAs can be pretty costly, but
that's fair.
Yeah, ghostwriting's a really cool thing, man. I get to go into these rooms and help people tell their stories, and it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. I get to do it everywhere in the world, and I get to be a different person every single time. You kind of get to act for a day,
Yeah.
So I love it, and it brings out a different facet of what I do, and that's where freestyling comes in really handy. It's kind of the same gimmick. Instead of taking 3 words from the crowd, I'm getting somebody saying like, oh, my dog died last week, or oh, my ex is coming back into my life, or I'm out of ketamine, let's make a up-tempo song, so all these things come together, and we make these tunes happen.
Super random. What does your dad do as a hydrogeologist?
Oh wow, hydrogeology, man. We're on some Nardor type shit right now. So essentially, a hydrogeologist is somebody you'd go see if you wanted to open a well. So let's say you're out deep in the game, and you're like, oh, gotta hydrate. I want to make a well. Looks like there's some good water there. You'd call my dad, and he'd tell you if the water is drinkable, and if it isn't, how you can make that happen. It's a pretty clutch, pretty clutch job.
Okay. I do, of course. We've got to talk a bit about the music. I got to give a shout out on the album Stunt, which came out in 2024 this year. One song, Who's to Blame? The fact that you put in George Stroumboulopoulos into that song with that name, props to you, first of all.
Thank you.
Did you come up with that line?
I did, yeah. George got my life together like George Stroumboulopoulos. Funny enough, somebody in the crowd in Europe was like, "Oh, you're from Canada? Do you know George Stroumboulopoulos?" And I was like, "Who doesn't?" And then I kind of in the back of my mind, and I was like, "I wonder if I can put this in a song." And it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Depending on who you ask.
I do want to ask again, talking about music, you reference la musica popular. I don't know if I said that properly.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But then you also have your EP, La Musica Popular de Verdun.
Yes,
What's the appeal to that style of music to you in the band?
Well, it's a bounce off La Música Popular de Brasil, which is a current of music in Brazil that happened in the 60s and 70s. And just to sum it up pretty quick, it was kind of a best of the music of that era, whether that was folk, orchestral, jazz, funky. And so when I came back from a very long trip in Brazil, I wanted to kind of make a best of what was going on in Montreal, and I think that's what Clay & Friends is. We're so lucky to have fans that allow us to go from disco to funk to a rock song to a folk song, and that's kind of the ethos of what La Musique Populaire de Verdun represents.
Fair enough. All right, and what's the plan for the rest of the year and the summer?
Well, stay tuned. Clay & Friends is on a conquest of the world, so we're heading back to Europe in not too long, and our slogan is keeping it moving, so we are keeping it moving. Pew, pew, pew.
Love it. That's it, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, cheers.
Killed it.